Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. My fiancé, 30 male, and I, 28 female, are in the middle of planning our wedding. I was super excited at first, but now we've run into a major problem. He's insisting I keep my wedding dress under $100 and the bridesmaids' dresses under $30 each. His reasoning is that weddings are just one day, and we shouldn't waste money on frivolous stuff. I was upset because while I don't want to go overboard, I feel like a wedding dress is a pretty big deal for the bride. Plus, finding a decent dress for under $100 feels impossible. As for the bridesmaids, I was planning to choose affordable options, but $30 is such a low limit that I'm worried they'll end up in outfits that will look like Halloween costumes. While he's being super strict about my dress budget, he's planning a bachelor party in Vegas with his friends and budgeting $5,000 for it. When I pointed out the double standard, he says the bachelor party is a once-in-a-lifetime experience and that the wedding budget is about priorities. To make things worse, his family completely backs him up. His mom even said, "The dress doesn't make the bride, it's about the commitment." She also implied I'm being materialistic for caring so much about how I look on my wedding day. After several arguments, I told him I wanted to pause wedding planning until we could get on the same page. Now he's mad and says I'm overacting and blowing things out of proportion. But to me, this feels like a huge red flag. If he can't compromise or prioritize what's important to me for our wedding, what does that mean for our future? Am I the a-hole for pausing everything to figure this out? I don't want to feel like I'm being unreasonable, but I also don't want to start our marriage feeling like my needs don't matter. Edit. I work. I'm not buying my dresses with his money. Edit 2. I don't have an engagement ring. Update. I've decided to cancel the wedding and end the relationship entirely. After my post, we sat down and talked about how disrespected I felt, and he kind of agreed to revisit some of the budget decisions. However, a few days later, my maid of honor told me that my fiancé had texted her asking if she could chip in for her bridesmaid dress because he didn't want me blowing up our entire budget on dresses for other people. He hadn't mentioned any of this to me. I felt so humiliated. When I confronted him, he called me ridiculous and said if my friends really cared about me, they wouldn't mind paying for their own dresses. We had another fight after that, and during that he let it slip that his $5,000 bachelor party budget was actually closer to $8,000. He just didn't think I needed to know that because guys' trips are different, and that I can't complain because it's his hard-earned money. That was it for me. I realized it was a glimpse of what my future would look like. He expected me to sacrifice, compromise, and constantly bend to his needs while he did whatever he wanted. He didn't respect me as an equal partner, and I knew I was setting myself up for a hard life by being with him. So I have called off the wedding. He and his mother have called me every name under the sun. It's unbelievable. It's like their masks slipped off. I'm rethinking my relationship from the beginning. And I want to face palm because I've been such a clueless idiot. I know I dodged a major bullet. Thanks to everyone for validating my concerns. I'm taking this hard, but I know I'll recover. Thanks again. You're nowhere near being the a-hole or P. I'm so glad you cancelled the wedding and broke off the relationship with your ex. You dodged a huge bullet. And I'm so proud of you for going through with ending things with him. Your ex had so many red flags, but I'll point out the ones that stood out to me. He was willing to spend over $8,000 on a bachelor party, while telling you to keep your wedding dress budget under $100. When he wasn't the one paying, where can you even get a dress for that price? You didn't even have an engagement ring, but he was going to spend that much on a party. It is so clear to me that this man really didn't care about you or the fact that this would have been your wedding too. Let's not even get into his mom backing him up with his ridiculous requests. You made the best decision getting away from them. I wish you well. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to deal with my girlfriend's depression? So my girlfriend and I have been dating for about 8 months. And for the most part, things are pretty good. However, with all that's going on, she's not working and is basically just staying at home all day. I'm still working, and when I get home, the first thing I have to hear is how hard her day was since she had nothing to do. She talks about how she's feeling depressed. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. I heard her out the first couple days, but now it's the same thing every day. She's literally able to sleep in and watch Netflix every day till I get home from work. Yesterday I had a rough day at work and was in a bad mood. So when she was telling me how hard she had it, I told her that I don't want to hear it anymore. She's not depressed, she's just bored. There are people literally dying and she's complaining about such insignificant things. Well, as you can imagine, she didn't take it well, and we barely spoke the rest of the night. Am I the a-hole for telling her that I don't want to hear about her depression? You're the a-hole, OP. I understand that it's easy to get annoyed with your girlfriend talking about how sad she feels, especially after you've had a stressful day at work. But snapping at her and telling her she wasn't depressed and was just bored was really cruel. She probably just wanted to share her feelings with you because she trusted you, but you've likely destroyed that trust now. I would advise you to apologize to her and help her find something to fill her time with. I know it can be hard to be loving when you don't understand what someone is going through, but that doesn't mean you should disregard their feelings. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. I'm stuck home and doing everything to keep the depression and panic attacks at bay. It's a fact that remaining cooped up in the house can cause or exacerbate depression. You don't get to decide what is depression and what isn't. Unless you failed to mention that you are a clinical psychologist, which I highly doubt. Oh, people like you tick me off. You have no idea what you are talking about, and yet you make other people feel horrible. You're the a-hole. Depression is a pretty serious mental health issue. It saps you of energy and motivation to do anything. The best way I've heard it described is like you've got this huge weight sitting on your chest all the time. Whatever you're feeling after your shitty day, trust me, she will feel worse than you all the time. After your comment earlier about her never having had mental health issues before, newsflash, they can start at any time. There's always a first time, and absolutely anything can trigger it. You need to apologize and do some reading up on depression to try and at the very least understand what she's going through. You're the a-hole. Staying in all the time, not doing anything, no social activity, boredom, and depression go hand in hand. You might be right that she's just bored, but you might also be dismissing something bigger, just because you're not the one dealing with it. Relationships are two-way streets though, and you're allowed your bad days. It sounds like you two could use a more productive talk, probably starting with an apology and including an explanation that you will need support from time to time too, but acknowledging that you shouldn't be dismissive of her feelings. Maybe also talk about her trying out a new hobby, painting or drawing, music, even just daily walks, or something to brighten her mood. Story 3. My 27 female's brother 56 male Chris and his new girlfriend 27 female Anna have been dating for a few months now. He's 56 and she's 27. My problem with their relationship has nothing to do with the age difference. According to my brother, they met through work. They don't work for the same company but have the same type of job, caregivers. And she also has a second job working for a clothing store. Cool. I'm glad, because I was slightly worried in the beginning that she might try to use him. I've met Anna once, and she's beautiful, seems really sweet and friendly. My brother just went through a bad time last year when he and his wife of 15 plus years separated. His ex was having a year-long affair and just left him. He tried dating a bit, but it never really worked out. Fast forward to earlier this year when he met Anna. Chris would tell me how happy he is when he hangs out with her, that he hadn't felt so excited or so sexual in so long. I was so happy for him. A couple of weeks ago, my brother was showing me a couple of text messages between the two of them, trying to show off how cute they are. I, being the nosy little sister I am, read through more texts. I told him I was doing this. What I saw was a lot of Chris saying, "Good morning, beautiful," with no reply from Anna. He would text her a little later saying, "Hope you're enjoying your day, lover," and still no reply. He would text her later at night, "Going to sleep. Hope you sleep well, sweetheart." Texts like this would happen for 2 days in a row. Anna would reply on the second or third day with a sentence, and then she would be unresponsive again. The sentence would usually be in the middle or end of the day with something like, "Had a good day, thanks." In my head, she might be losing interest in my brother. I went back further to see if it came out of nowhere, then I saw it. She texted my brother one day a couple of weeks ago saying she needed $200 for her car repair, to which he told her he didn't have it. Anna replied to him saying, "It's just $200. I need my car to take her 2-year-old to daycare." Chris then said he'd try to give it to her in a couple weeks. At that time, Anna also had a birthday. My brother tried to see her for it, but she said she was sick. Later on, he asked her what she wanted for her birthday and she said, "Let's go shopping." Chris told me he didn't take her shopping, but a couple days later, he's short on his rent. He's never short on rent, ever. I'm getting worried because I'm seeing what I think to be red flags in their relationship. I brought my concerns up to him and he said, "Oh, I know. If I see her start to be cold or distant, I'll say something." To me, she's already cold. They haven't seen each other in over a month now, which is unusual compared to the beginning of their relationship. She goes a couple of days without answering his texts or phone calls. And when she does, she says she needs money for groceries, bills, or dinner. The most concerning thing of all was when my brother told me he gave her his debit card number so she could order lunch one day while she was at work. I asked him if he was closely monitoring his account now, and he just said, "No, I trust her." But this month he was short on rent, so either he is giving her more money than he can afford to, or she is spending more of his money than he realizes. My 14-year-old nephew lives with my brother. He can't be short on rent. My nephew went through a really hard time when his parents split up, and I don't want him to go through the stress of an eviction, especially when my brother has always been able to manage money in the past. Am I seeing too much into this? I feel like my brother is blinded by feeling wanted by a beautiful woman. His ex-wife walked all over him, and now he's just so happy to be with someone that he doesn't see she may not be the best partner for him. I tried to talk to him about it, but he just picked up his phone and started scrolling through his Facebook feed, not really listening. How do I get my older brother to listen to my concerns instead of just blowing me off like he did the first time I tried to mention it? I really am concerned. Now for some comments. Like others have said, this could be a totally consensual sugar relationship. He needs to set a hard limit on her spending, a specific amount. If she doesn't abide, he needs to change his card. Besides that, I don't see much you can do. If it actually is sugaring, she's probably doing it to support her kid and buy herself stuff. It could be that she's keeping it professional and he's just being clingy. Something a lot of sugar babies have to deal with when it comes to clients. Talk it out with your brother. If he thinks it's a romantic relationship, he needs to open his eyes. It's hard to get these guys to see reason. I'm currently divorcing my husband who just turned 65 because he's been giving thousands of dollars to a 26-year-old stripper who lives in the Bahamas, and he's running up his credit cards in the process. I snooped on his texts, and it's just like your brother. My ex pours out his hopes and dreams. And she's like, "Baby, can you send me $300? Love you." Yeah, sure. I suspect that he's going to move her into his place and then he's never going to get rid of her. My last piece of advice was, dude, get a vasectomy. It's rough to watch someone headed blindly for the crash that you know is coming, but at this point, if you try to push him, it will make him dig in his heels and cling more to her because he so desperately wants it to be real. And if he gets mad at you for trying to stop him, then that might drive a wedge between you. At all costs, You need to avoid that, because then, when things fall apart, he might be afraid to come back to you when he needs your help. He's going to have to ride this out as he chooses, and you're going to have to ride it out from a distance as well, so that you and he have a solid enough relationship that he'll think of you as a resource when things go off the rails.